Thank you, Rupert.
Thank you, Corey. Lovely to be here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy for me to comprehend being here with you now, because 2 years ago, I was in the deepest depression of my whole life, and having panic attacks about death, and felt like there was no solution. I pulled up your videos and I watched 12 minutes of your videos, and it just cracked my head open completely. And since then, I've been on this path into your teaching and the non-dual teaching, and now standing here with you, just feeling just joy that's coming from inside me, and that I am that joy.
Yes.
It's magic. I mean, it's amazing. It's like, I feel like it should be on the front page of every newspaper that like, you are love.
You're right, Corey. It should be on the front page of every newspaper. It should be the knowledge that all children learn at school, that peace and joy are the very nature of our being, not something that needs to be acquired or achieved through objects and substances and relationships and so on. But peace and joy are our very nature. And likewise, that we share our nature, we share our being with everyone, which is the common experience of love, that this felt sense of our shared being. It is the natural condition of all relationship. It's not something that we find as a result of sharing certain attitudes or a way of life. It's the natural condition of all relationship. Yes, it's everyone should know this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's why I wanted to write a song with you about it, is that's my attempt of like screaming at the world, like nothing is more important than this piece of information.
Yes. 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 It's true. If we were to distill 3,000 years of spiritual and religious understanding into a single sentence, it would read something like, peace and happiness are the nature of our being, and we share our being with everyone and everything. If we've understood that, we've understood the entire religious and spiritual tradition, and then of course we have to live the implications of that understanding to the best of our abilities. But yes, that is the essential thing to learn in life. It's the most important thing to know in life, that the peace, the happiness for which we all long above all else, the happiness that we all love above all else, is our very own nature. It's the nature of our being and can just be found by turning inside.
Right.
It can't be found by acquiring objects, substances, relationships, and so on. And I don't mean to imply that one shouldn't have relationships or engage in activities, or not at all. We just shouldn't do so for the purpose of finding love and happiness. We should find love and happiness where they belong, namely in our being. And then we engage in activities and relationships in order to express that and celebrate that and share that, communicate that.
Yeah. I think, what I love the most about your teaching is these are things that I've heard before in, various spiritual traditions that I've explored, or books that I've read, or even in popular culture. But what I love about what you do is that with those other teachings, they never really sat with me because I'm still just trusting what someone else says. Yeah. But what you do is you ask me to verify in my own experience as a scientist of my own reality, if I see that what you're saying is accurate to what I'm experiencing.
Exactly. In fact, if somebody were to ask me, would you recommend that I trust what you say or mistrust what you say, I would recommend they mistrust it. But be open to the possibility that there may be some truth in it, and then explore and verify that possibility for yourself.
Right.
And then I as you know, I might provide some tools, pathways to help us explore that. Because it's one thing to say to someone that the peace that you love above all else is the nature of your being. Okay, yes, but how do I find that? How do I access that? So that requires some pathways. But they're only pathways that enable us to find that for ourselves.
Yeah. I think this is kind of an area that I've found really interesting in the work that you do, is that you said something very impactful in one of your lectures. And in building the song, I listened to hundreds of hours of your lectures and your books. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you said that every word is a step away from truth.
Yes.
So in a sense, like, the work that you do is speaking to people, but because words are a limitation, a limited function, anything you say is a concession.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Nothing I say is absolutely true. It's what Picasso said so beautifully when he said, "All art tells a lie, but it points to the truth." Mm. And yes, nothing I say is absolutely true, because the truth cannot be, as you rightly say, it cannot be contained in limited words, because the truth is unlimited or infinite. So the purpose of words, or the purpose of the words that I use, is not to define truth. If we want to define truth, we should remain silent. The purpose of the words is to evoke the truth in our experience. So that's what poetry is. You know, nobody ever argues with a poet. Mm-hmm. People argue with philosophers, but they don't argue with poets, because poets aren't trying to describe truth or reality. They're trying to evoke the experience.
Right.
It's what Cézanne said about his painting. He said, I want, in people looking at his paintings, he said, I want to give people the taste of nature's eternity. I don't want to describe nature's eternity to them. I want to give them the taste. I want them to experience it themselves.
Right. And this is what I experience from the way you go about this too, is that, I have been obsessed with Rumi's poetry my whole life, and I never understood really why until exploring this teaching. In my mind, I always thought Rumi was talking about romantic love, or like just like a sweet poet guy. Yeah. But now with the word, when I see the word love being what I am, what this is, what all of this is made of, then the poems hit so much harder. Yes. And it's kind of what I see you doing in your work is, it's an art for you. It seems like it came out of the your experience as an artist for decades, right?
Absolutely. I was a ceramic artist for 30 years, making bowls. And then I stopped making bowls, and there was a kind of transition period over a couple of years when my work as a ceramic artist slowly declined, and I started writing and speaking more and more. But it was a kind of seamless, my interior experience was that it was a seamless transition. For someone looking at my career from the outside would say, okay, you stopped being an artist and you're now speaking and writing about non-dual philosophy or the perennial understanding. But my internal experience was not that at all. It was just a continual refinement of the process that I had been on as an artist for 30 years. And I consider now what I do is a kind of art form. It's trying to express the inexpressible, try to find a form that not contains the formless, but evokes the formless in our experience. Right. And that's really the work of an artist.
Yeah. And I think that's also why, wherever it is, my favorite work of yours is this book. Yes. Because when I'm reading a lot of the explanations of non-duality, I find my mind attaching to them as an object almost, yes, and being like, oh yes, that is the truth. Yes. But what I love about this work that you did is that the book is filled with juxtapositions that cause me to explore two opposing things that I might latch onto, yes, and then live in this space in between them. Yes. The space between thoughts. Yes. You're asking me to go into my experience of the knower, it feels like to me.
Yes. Yes. Funny enough, that was the first thing I ever wrote. Before I wrote any of my books or started speaking about these matters, this poem I wrote. And in fact, the reason I wrote it was because I was making very large open bowls, and I wanted a long poem to write on the surface of my bowls. So that the I Am poem was a poem that I wrote for that. For that reason. And it was, again, it was supposed to be, it's a long, repetitive, it's more like a hymn or an incantation that you read slowly, repetitively. And it's supposed to not engage us in conceptual or philosophical thinking. It's supposed to bring the what Cézanne called the taste of nature's eternity, bring truth or reality sort of out of the background of our experience into the foreground, but not as a result of our mind having grasped it. It's not something that the mind can grasp. It comes, as it were, from the background of experience. Anything the mind could grasp would be something in the foreground. We reach forwards towards understanding, towards ideas, towards
enlightenment,
or towards enlightenment, or towards happiness. Most people reach forward towards an object, a substance, a relationship. We're used to always reaching forward, and that's why most of us sort of approach the non-dual understanding. We start in exactly the same way that we've started any other endeavor, by reaching towards it. We think there's some understanding we must go towards. No, it's the opposite. It comes from the background, and that requires openness, receptivity. We can't go towards it. We can't grasp it with the mind. It requires a softening of the mind, a relaxation of the mind, a subsidence of the mind, and then this background. It emerges from the background, and then it can be formulated provisionally in response to a situation or a question. But the provisional formulation is just a temporary formulation that tailors the formless truth to a particular event or a particular question. When that event or question is over, then the formulation should be dissolved. We should let go of it completely.
Right.
Otherwise, it becomes a dogma. It turns into a religion.
Right. Yeah.